Well, we actually started because it was an ideal from Micah.
Correct.
Micah had this ideal for 100 Women on the Move, and they had other people involved on that, like Brenda and Reverend Lewis.
Hmm.
However, Reverend Lewis brought the ideal to me, and I talked with Brenda and I talked with Rhonda, and we ran away with the ideal of 100 Women on the Move. We're very excited about 100 Women on the Move because it gives women the power to go into the community and help people to vote.
Right. Yeah. It was great meeting that we had at Micah. I was there when Reverend Joe Jackson, Brenda's husband, brought it up, and he said that he wanted Souls to the Polls and Tikkun Ha'ir and Wivik to be involved in that. And as the educator of Tikkun Ha'ir and the organizer for Wivik, I was thrilled to be invited to join you and Brenda in this creating this great coalition.
Yes, and it's worked out really, really well. I'm basically very surprised at the women that signed up to become part of 100 Women on the Move because I think on the first meeting, a very first meeting, we had almost 100 women there, didn't we?
Right. I think we had around 75 women, which is really tremendous. We were
For our first meeting.
right.
Yeah.
I think it was Souls to the Polls and Wivik that were able to provide lunch.
Right.
And we know that when we give someone,
Food,
when we
they'll
give
show
someone
up.
some good food, they show up. But better, more important than the numbers were the types of women who came to support 100 Women and learn about it. We all know that Milwaukee is a very divided city. It's very segregated. And 100 Women is one of the few organizations that I'm involved in that really bring together many people from many backgrounds, whether it's our religion, our race, our ethnicity. We're, it's one of the few places where people feel comfortable gathering and working towards a common goal, which is voter engagement.
We were so lucky that day. We had a couple of artists that attended the first meeting, and I should have brought the buttons for free. They designed our shirts. They gave us buttons. You know what? Our little theme song is. Ain't, what's our theme song?
Ain't no stopping us now.
Ain't no stopping us now.
I heard it for the first time on the radio
When
like
she
7 months
told me,
ago.
she told me she was in the car with her husband and she heard "Ain't No Stopping Us Now." She never heard the song before.
I said, that's the song. I said, that's the song.
She said, "That's our song." But the first time we marched in,
Anita, you sing it better.
the first time we marched in Juneteenth parade, we sang that song all the way down. People were clapping and singing with us, and it was a joyous time and a good time. However, we did train the women. We just don't send them out. They do things like helping people, to assisting people in registering to vote.
That's the big thing.
That is a big thing, and canvassing. We train the women because I am a stickler to make sure that the correct information is given out to the public because oftentimes people are confused by the information that they get. So we had a training session for the women, and then they started going out to canvas and to update people if they needed that for their for voting or registering people to vote.
Right, because one thing we see in Milwaukee and in Wisconsin is we have a lot of out of state organizations that bring people in to register voters, especially in Milwaukee. And I think it's a very noble thing that they're doing. It's really important that Wisconsin, as a swing state, has every voter registered. But sometimes the people who come in from out of state, they don't always have the most accurate knowledge. So it's much better for those of us who live here in Wisconsin and in the Milwaukee area to be trained.
I agree 100%. Let's be really straight about this. People that come in from out of state are making money. The more people they register to vote, the more money they get. And what people really don't realize is they'll say that we're going to register you to vote. Go to this site. It's our website. It's my vote website. So, they're kind of tricking you because I get a lot of telephone calls as the voting specialist for Souls to the Polls, and they'll say, I thought I was registered. And then when I went to the polls to vote, they told me I wasn't registered, but that guy on the street said I was registered. So people really have to watch out for that. We do, with 100 Women on the Move, we do periodic luncheons to keep them updated on what's happening in the community and to invite them to participate in community activities.
Right, exactly. Um, I want to go back to the artists for a moment and the
Sure.
t-shirts because the artists who came, we had no idea who they were. And the artist who helped design our button, who did it at a very reduced rate, her name is Nikki Johnson.
Right.
And some people might have heard of her because in the past year, she has developed an art installation called the Pillars of Democracy, which are huge installations that were put into the state capitol for the anniversary of the Voting Rights Amendment
Mhm.
last year. She's now traveling throughout the country, um, presenting this Pillars of Democracy, and Takun Ha'ir and Wivik are actually partnering with her for a lot of her artworks that we now pass on to
I,
women in 100
I mean,
Women on the
we
Move.
really tripped up on that
We
because
did.
she just
So lucky.
volunteered. She says, "This is what I can do." Her cost was the materials. She didn't want to be paid for what she really offered her service, and I'm so grateful to her for doing that.
Right.
This is a pause because I'd like you, Anita, to talk about the third member of your leadership team. Okay?
Um, Unfortunately, the third leader of the 100 Women on the Move, Brenda Jackson, is not feeling well today, and she could not make it. But Brenda Jackson is the wife of Reverend Jackson, and she brings a lot of power. She brings a lot of knowledge. She knows a lot of people, and she's just a joyous, booming person to our group. And we enjoy her so much, and we're so lucky to have her with us to work. So I'm very sorry that she's not here today, but she really just got back in town from a long trip, and I think she has a sore throat. Yes.
Right, yeah. I think when you say that Brenda is joyous and booming, I think that is absolutely how you describe Brenda. She brings a lot of people in, not just from her congregation, Friendship
Yeah, just
Baptist,
Friendship Baptist
but
Church.
also
Yes.
just from the community, from
Yes.
Micah. And she always brings a very effervescent, a very bubbly, very excited presence. And she also brings a lot of that uh, interfaith engagement. That is a big part of 100 Women on the Move. I've worked for two faith-based organizations, so I really appreciate how she can be so grounding in her interfaith work. That is another way that unites 100 Women on the Move. I think most of the women in the group are affiliated with a congregation of any kind, and that's one of our strengths that we bring to
Brenda
the group.
likes to do things on a grand scale. You know, Rhonda and I were like, okay, we're just gonna do this. We got to watch the budget. We got to do this. We're like, no, this is what we're gonna do. Boom. So she's a joy to have and a joy to work with.
What's next for 100 Women?
We have a meeting.
Right. So we're here in June. So this is the month of Juneteenth. So on June 12th, we're having a luncheon meeting at Good Hope Library. They've been very supportive of hosting us, and we supply a very simple meal, and then we'll be planning for our Juneteenth parade by making signs and organizing who's going to be in the parade, who's going to be helping with the Souls to the Polls booth, and how we can get the word out. One thing that I'd like to do is ask some of the 100 Women on the Move who are more committed members to bring in more people. because we started with about 80 people on our list. We've grown to about 120. But as we know, it takes a lot more than 100 women on the list to bring out 100 women to events. So I'd like to train some of the women who are really committed to 100 Women on the Move to start promoting it amongst their friends, their family, their other network members. That'll be June 12th. And then we have the Juneteenth celebration on, of course, Friday, June 19th. We'll be marching in the parade and then also helping Souls to the Polls with your voter engagement booth. And as I tell people, we may not know where the booth is right now, but you cannot miss the Souls to the Polls booth. It is the most active booth on the street, with the T-shirt giveaway, the visors giveaways, and the amount of knowledge that you bring to those people who are coming to the booth. You really can't miss Souls to the Polls. So excited about what's coming in June, and then as the summer moves on, we are going to build a campaign of how to speak to reluctant voters. That is really the most powerful thing any one of our organizations can do, is learning how to engage reluctant voters. That doesn't mean chasing them down.
Right.
That doesn't mean shaming them. That means listening to them and finding a way to connect to the values that they hold most dear to them,
Absolutely.
and helping them to understand that some of the challenges they're facing, and some of the reluctant voters are facing so many challenges, how voting can help them. So that's going to be a big push for 100 Women on the Move.
And I like to do, a lot of people know about 100 Women on the Move. And I was pleasantly surprised. I was working on another campaign with another group, and I walked up to the woman and I said, my name is Anita Grisham. I'm going back to my maiden name.
Ooh,
My name is
I didn't even know your maiden name.
Anita Johnson, and I'm with this organization. And she said, "Are you the Anita Johnson?" And I was like, "What?" She says, "Are you with 100 Women on the Move?" I was like, "Yes." I was I was so surprised. So, our work does not go unnoticed. People do see what we do. It's just that everybody's plate is so full. They don't often have time to come and volunteer or do what we need to do in getting the word out about voting.
Right. And it's funny because you had that happen with you. I was leading an event last week at Congregation Shalom, an interfaith event, and a woman was one of our more committed volunteers was talking about 100 women, and the woman she was talking to says, "Oh, is this a national organization?" So we must be looking pretty good. We must be looking pretty good. It's always nice to hear something like that. So, yeah,